Well, hello guys, I hope you're doing well, and I have a fun video for you today. I hope you can all appreciate the wonderful title of this video and take it with a grain of salt without jumping to conclusions and calling me arrogant before you watch the whole video, or saying that I'm playing the smallest violin ever, or telling me that I'm not good looking. I mean, that is your opinion to make, of course, but just maybe hear me out before you make any judgments, because this video will actually apply to a lot of things outside of just being really ridiculously good looking. It's actually about any kind of physical, temporary sort of identification, whether that's being a really great athlete, whether that's being really smart, your job, being a parent. Any kind of identification is something that we should be a lot more careful about totally throwing ourselves into and basing our sense of self out of. While there will be a focus on this video on looks and like my own personal experience in that realm, I was actually going to call this video initially The Downsides of Being Pretty, but that was kind of like, I don't know. But then I thought of Zoolander, and that movie is just epic if you guys haven't seen it, and I thought of this clip.
Did you ever think that maybe there's more to life than being really, really, really ridiculously good looking?
And it's true, there is so much more to life than being really ridiculously good looking, and thankfully I feel like I'm finally having that sink in, as stupid and silly as that movie is. But it's just interesting because in this day and age, especially like in North America, that is a very like looks and superficially obsessed sort of society, because it's so easy to fall into the trap of thinking that if only, you know, my physical appearance was different, if only I was skinnier, if only I had, you know, better muscles, if only I was taller, if only I could get a nose job, like my life would be so much better, people would treat me, you know, in a completely different way, all of these problems that I have wouldn't be there. And so when you find yourself in the position of actually having what it is you think you needed to make your life better, whether that is to be, you know, classically good looking, or to have a lot of money, or to, you know, be in a certain kind of relationship, when we finally get into these situations that we've been like waiting for, hoping for, and there's this inevitable sense of emptiness a lot of times that comes with realizing that that thing actually doesn't do that for you. But since this video is based more on identification with looks, I thought I would kind of share my own experience in that whole sphere, because I have, you know, worked in the modeling industry for a very long time. I started when I was 13 years old. I think I got my first local mother agent in Saskatchewan, and then at 15 I had my first international modeling contract to Tokyo, so like a very young age to be like thrown headfirst into those industries, and I've basically been doing it on and off ever since. I'm turning 28 in literally 2 weeks, so pretty crazy that it has been that long. But the messed up thing to remember that I have spoken about on my channel before is that around the age of 12, I think, but it was certainly before I got into modeling, I had developed an eating disorder. I had anorexia for almost a decade, and it was not because of the fashion industry, like to start it anyway. It was definitely exacerbated probably, but yeah, I already was having some disordered eating patterns, and if you actually know anything about eating disorders, you would know that it is actually more of like a mental disorder than it is like an obsession with your appearance per se. So while it is sad and ironic that my eating disorder was kind of a big reason of me being able to get into the modeling industry because of their ridiculous, unhealthy standards of what a model should look like, there was, of course, many positive things that have come out of the experience, and I don't regret it for a second. But I mention it because, of course, a decade of being in the modeling industry, being so young, working and being treated as an adult when you're not, it does mess with your head. And when there's such a strong focus on the way you look and being, praised for being either really skinny or, if you could put it in another sort of context, such as being like really ripped, having lots of muscles, or whatever kind of, physical feature that you have to work hard to maintain, you really begin to base your sense of self on that, and you think that it's that external characteristic that is giving you value. So in no way am I blaming my parents for, keeping me in that industry. Honestly, I don't think they knew until I was much older that that was even going on. And they did do a good job of making me feel confident in other ways, such as, being smart or being responsible and not having everything be about my looks. So, take that out of the situation. But the thing that I remember, at least in that time, was that because modeling was this rare and special thing that not many people got to do, and that is only open to, like 2% of the population, yeah, it made me feel special. It made me feel like this is an incredible opportunity that not many people get to have. I should make the most of it. I should capitalize on it. And that's kind of when this obsession or concentration on my looks became really unhealthy. Looking back on how much like time, energy, money, just complete obsession that I spent on trying to be my best physically is just insanity to me now. Anytime you place so much stock in your external sort of identity, whether, as I mentioned before, being an athlete or being a mother or getting, the perfect marks in university, you really think that these things make you who you are, and it's like a life or death sort of situation that you just have to get right, or your whole life is going to fall apart and you don't have value without it. I've heard from so many mothers that like once their kids go off to college and they're adults, they're trying to live their own lives, the parents don't know what to do with themselves because they just put in 18 years or more into developing, a human being, looking after them, thinking that they know what's best for this person, and now, they're out of the nest doing their own thing, and if they're not living by the guidelines that their parents set out for them, which most kids don't a lot of times, like they freak out. They feel like they still need to micromanage their children, and their sense of identity is so caught up in that parental role. So it was really the same thing with being a model, where that became such a focus of my life, and so much of my sense of self was intertwined in fulfilling that role to the best of my ability, that I really thought that my looks were the best thing that I had to offer the world. There is nothing wrong with appreciating the external sort of experiences and forms and doing a certain kind of role, because we all have roles in this life, whether it is being a parent or the job you do or the kind of hobbies you like. Like, there's nothing wrong with doing those things with joy, doing them to the best of your ability, putting time and effort into them. But it's a whole other thing to be so identified with those things that when somebody asks you, like, who are you? That, you say that you are this role, and you believe it so deeply that you're petrified that this thing might change or get taken away, or that you don't have it. One of the greatest gifts that I feel I've gotten from developing my spirituality and connecting to myself on a deeper level is that all of the things that I choose to do on a daily basis, whether it is modeling or acting or YouTube or, whatever is the spice of the day, I can do those things and have fun with it and try my best. But it's not the end of the world if it doesn't work out, or if somebody tells me that they don't think I'm that great at that thing, or that I, see somebody else doing that thing so much better than me. Like, yes, there's moments where the ego still comes back in and, I feel sad, or I feel like I'm a victim of my life or something. Like, of course I still get that sometimes, but it is a much healthier way to live when you have that sort of detachment from what you're doing, and it almost gives you more freedom to be even better at what it is you do, because you're not all in your head driving yourself crazy thinking that everybody else is judging you when they're not. And when it comes to your looks, it's literally one of the craziest things to actually draw your sense of self out of, because we are all going to age. Things are going to sag, there's gonna be more lines on the face, and your hair's, gonna lose pigment, you're probably gonna get a little bit fatter. Like, it's just a natural process, and first of all, we shouldn't look at that as a negative. Like, there is so much beauty in aging. Our mainstream society just chooses not to see it that way at this point in time. And second of all, like, you should just be grateful that you get the privilege to be able to experience that process. Like, a lot of people do pass away young and don't get to have the experience of being able to age and all the wisdom and experience that comes with that. So whenever people are like offended that somebody asks them their age, or are scared of, what's to come in 20 years, how they're going to look, and trying their hardest to stop the clock and look a certain way forever, it's a bit of a weird obsession that can really cause a lot of unnecessary madness in your life. We are all here on this planet just trying our best, and technically petrified because we really don't know what's waiting for us in the next moment, or how this world could turn. So the least we can do is enjoy what it is we are doing, of not being completely obsessed with trying to keep things the way they are, because it's impossible, and to just know that there really is more to life than being really ridiculously good looking. So I really hope you guys have enjoyed today's video, and let me know in the comments down below if there's anything that you've identified with on a crazy obsessive level. I would love to know all about it. But other than that, I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Keep being your own kind of beautiful, and I will see you soon. Bye, guys.
Know what could really help you sort through these important issues?
What?
Orange mocha frappuccino! Yeah! Yeah! Come on,